Today I made over $2,000 live day trading the NASDAQ. I'm a little bummed. We were profitable. We've been profitable all week, but I think I could have made more money today. I don't know why. I was feeling anxious when I was in the market. I was feeling anxious on this trade, and I think I kind of messed it up. And we'll look at what the trade did, how it's performing, and yeah, like it wasn't a. It was a good trade. I took two trades. One was a loser, one was a winner. The winner got us into green for the day, but I think I could have allowed that winner to be even bigger if I would have been a little bit more patient and not move my trailing stop loss up so fast. So let's break down the trades. Let's also go into our Bitcoin trades. Bitcoin today was red. It hasn't been red in a very long time, but Bitcoin on today's trades were red. Not a bad loss, but a loss in itself. So let's break it down and let's see what happened today on the markets. We're going to break down NASDAQ first. Of the two trades we took, the loser and the winner, I was really bummed about the loser because honestly, I honestly don't know why it didn't work. It was a really good setup, but it didn't work. But the good thing is we didn't let that loss stop us from executing on the next trade that came, which ended our day green, which if I did not execute, I would have never probably made it if I would have let that loss get to my head. So let's break it down. Let's see what happened. And let's also look at the trade that never tapped us out. That would have made us it would have been such a good day if that trade would have just tapped us in. All right, let's check it out and let's break it down the trades that happened today. So market open, market was very bearish at market open, pushed over 100 points at market open, and then we kind of chopped around. And I was just waiting. I was like, all right, we are not getting any setups at all morning, no setups. So I sat here for a long time, like 4 or 5 hours waiting for my trade, which isn't normal. Typically trades come a little bit faster, but today I needed to be patient. I needed to sit here and wait. So let's break down what happened, what were the trades, and what took place. Here on NASDAQ, on the, what candle is this? 12:40 p.m. candle, we had a nice liquidity sweep. Now, this was not a winning trade that we were able to take because it never tapped us in. Okay, so here, if you go down the 1 minute, price on the 1 minute, inverted this fair value gap. I did not consider this, and maybe this is where my mistake was, and maybe I should have considered this an inversion. But this candle, I didn't consider as an inversion because it's like I could barely tell if it's like right on the line or over. I wanted it to be like obvious that this was inverted. So I did not enter this trade on this candle, which maybe in hindsight I should have. But to me, I wanted it to be like obvious that it inverted that candle. Price inverted that candle. I set my order up, and here is the trade that we would have taken. And price literally barely missed us by like a pixel. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was a full point that it missed our entry. Before it would have tapped us in and ran up to this trade was a winner. This trade would have won. Here's where the trade's first take profit would have been, and it would have smacked. Would have been an excellent trade. Would have locked in 50 points, 50 and a half points for the day, but it is what it is. It didn't tap us in. What can we do? I mean, I'm not going to move my entry just to force an entry. We didn't get tapped in, so we didn't get to lock in those points. But that trade was a winner if it would have tapped us in. Another great example, the 1 minute kill shot is excellent. Okay, so here is the other opportunity that I saw over here. So kind of ignore this move because this move was not here yet. But we did have these 3 candle wicks right here that failed to displace above this high right here. So we had this high over here to the right. And 3 candles failed to displace that move up. 3 candles. And I went down to the 1 minute. We went down the 1 minute. We inverted this fair value gap right here. This was the setup. Stops or entry at the top of that inversion. Stops at the top of the liquidity sweep. Then we shoot for 2R. And as you can see, price instead stopped us out on this trade. It wasn't a big loss. I think we only risked, it was only 9.5 points that we risked. So that was honestly a very small loss. And I knew if we got another really good opportunity, we could catch a nice trade. So then I was bummed because I was like, dang, 3 5-minute candles failed to displace this high. Like that should have worked. But hey, I mean, they're not all going to work, right? The strategy is not going to be you know, 100% win rate. No strategy that I know of is 100% win rate. And honestly, I think if someone is selling you a 100% win rate strategy, they're lying. But let's look at the 5-minute here. This was the second trade that actually tapped us in and actually won, and where I messed up. And as you can see, it's still ripping up and would have hit our our 2R TP. But I don't know, I was just anxious on this trade. I think because I already tried to take this one that missed, this one lost, and so I technically it's like the third bullet. So I was like, I don't know, I was just anxious on this trade. So we had a clear liquidity sweep, as you can see right here, right? 5-minute, this low that pushed up to break above these highs right here on this candle. Price came back down, failed to displace this low, wicking off. I went down to the 1-minute, waited for inverse fair value gap. Price right here, inverted this fair value gap right here. I set my limit order to buy, stop loss at the liquidity sweep. So this one was a little bit wider at 14-point stops. Still not a bad risk at all. And price ripped up. Price is ripping up. As soon as I saw price break above this high, I moved my stops up to this wick. And then I saw price continually moving, breaking here even more. So I moved my stops to the bodies of these candles. And then price literally came down, wicked me out, stopped me out, and then ripped up to then hit my 2R. Now, in hindsight, what should I have waited for? Typically, I only move trailing stop losses on 5-minute order blocks. If you go to the 5-minute time frame, okay, if I would have waited for a 5-minute order block, which would have been created here on this candle, my stop loss would still be here. The trade would still be alive, and we would have hit 2R. 2R's right there. We would have hit our TP, and we'd still be in this trade as I'm recording this. This would still be running. We would have made well into profit, way more than what we actually made today. We only made $2,000 today. We should have made a lot more money if I would have just been a little bit more patient. But I don't know. I just wasn't feeling good in this trade. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I already took a loss and I'm just building up that discipline. But I am a little bummed. I kind of ruined it. But at least the day still ended green, and we are on a 4-day win streak on our strategy. Really, today, I wouldn't even really consider today a win. It's kind of like a break-even day. We did make profit, but I don't know. It's like a break-even day. It's not really that good. So I think this trade would actually do excellent if like we let it really run. My guess is price is going to go and attack this external range liquidity, because on higher time frames it's very bullish. Maybe not. Maybe it's just going to go to the discount, 50% line of this discounted range, which it might have just hit. But either way, winning trade there. That ended us green, and this was here's our actual actual P&L for the day on NASDAQ, $2,146.40. Not bad. Pretty much a break-even day, but still a green day is a green day, and I'm happy with that. Now let's break down Bitcoin. What happened? What were the trades that we took? And what was the end of the day P&L on Bitcoin? So Bitcoin in this morning, where was it? So here Bitcoin had the 5-minute liquidity sweep, and it was, to me, it looked pretty obvious. And then if you go down to the 1-minute, as you can see right here, price inverted this fair value gap right there. Entry went to the top of the inversion, stop loss to the bottom of that liquidity sweep. We got tapped in, and then immediately within 2 candles, we got stopped out. And then it ended up not working out. And then over here, ended up moving upwards, but never gave us an entry signal to go long. So Bitcoin had one full loss here for about, I'll show you the P&L right now, for a $6.65 loss. I will be trying to trade Asia session during Bitcoin today, so maybe we can turn this day around and kind of watch it. But so far today on Bitcoin, it is negative $65.65, which in reality, it's like a full loss, but not too bad. I'm not too frustrated with that. We've had a really good run on Bitcoin. I'm really loving the 1-minute kill shot still, even with this loss. It's going to happen. No model's perfect. So losses are inevitable. It's how you treat them, what you learn from them, and how you can execute better the next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. If you can, like this video, subscribe, leave a comment down below of maybe something you're interested in seeing or something that you have a question on just in watching this video. I love your guys' feedback. Come join us live when we live day trade Kick and Twitch. Follow us on there, subscribe to those channels, and I would love to have you on our live stream when we live day trade in the mornings. Also, right now, Apex is hosting an 80% off eval, and we have TradeZella 20% off if you use code Maniac for all of those. So use the links down below or go to link in my bio and make sure you take advantage of all those discounts going on. They're really excellent discounts, and they are all tools that you can utilize to make sure you're profitable and can get some pretty good accounts and payouts. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in our live stream.